Retro Racing reports from October 25, 1959, Sacramento State Fairgrounds. It's the 9th annual Big Car Championship 100-mile auto race. Featured on the cover is Rodger Ward, who won the 1959 Indianapolis 500 just a few months before. He's shown along with his wife, Jo, and Skippy the dog. It's a J.C. Agajanian promotion, and a story by Bob McCarty from the Sacramento Union. If the caption reads, J.C. Agajanian presents, you have a whale of a chance of seeing a thrilling auto race. The man with the big hat puts on his 9th 100-miler here today, and the show just seems to grow and grow. A record crowd was on hand last year, with the gate hitting $38,759.50. Agajanian guaranteed a purse of $7,500 to the pilots against 40% of the gate and wound up cutting up $16,000. That's one secret to the man's success. He's not afraid to gamble, and the drivers know they'll get a fair shake. It's this sort of harmony that's boosted Agajanian's show here in Sacramento. It's the only race of its type on the Pacific Coast, and the promoter is proud to bring it to the capital. And he plans to keep it here despite overtures from larger cities. His slant? The people of Sacramento have been more than generous in their support of this race. After 8 years, it's become a part of your fall sports pattern, and I hope to keep it that way. And so the engines will roar again today, and speed students will get their once-a-year chance to watch the Indianapolis-type machines spinning around the dirt oval. They go plenty fast. Johnny Thompson, the 1958 winner here, was clocked at 89.463 miles per hour, and even the best pilots, too, often find themselves in a spin that doesn't stop until they've torn out parts of the inside railing or outside fences. It adds up to another speed spectacular, and all because J.C. Agajanian presents... There are several driver profiles in this program, in lieu of straight-out articles. Rodger Ward won the fastest and richest Indianapolis 500 in history just this year. Ward, the winningest driver on this year's championship circuit, will be seeking to repeat his 1957 record-breaking triumph in the only race in California each year for the Indianapolis cars and drivers. He still holds the one-lap qualifying record of 99.36 miles per hour and the 100-mile mark at 90.965. The curly-haired 38-year-old veteran from Los Angeles and Indianapolis became the first driver since the late Bob Swikert of Hayward in 1955 to win the National Driving Championship and the 500 in the same year. Besides Indianapolis, Ward also captured the Milwaukee 200, the Hoosier 100, and the DuQuoin 100-miler. He also has 2 seconds and 2/3 and 11 starts. Rodger will drive the number 5 leader car duo special owned by Bob Wilkie of Milwaukee. Chief mechanic is A.J. Watson, whose other Indianapolis winners have been Swikert and Paul Flaherty. Flaherty and Ward were in Watson-built roadsters. Tony Bettenhausen is the only 2-time national driving champion in today's field. The Tinley Park Express has won just about every major racing honor in the United States except winning Indianapolis. He was twice national driving champion, that was 51 and 58. He's won more championship races than any other driver in the post-World War II period. He took 21 races, 2 more than runner-up Jimmy Bryan, the 1958 Indianapolis winner, and 3-time national driving champion. His first win was back in 1946, and his latest was last Sunday. Tony has scored more championship points than any driver for the period of 1946 to date. His total of 10,545 surpasses 3-time Sacramento winner Bryan's count of 9,681. He's driven more miles in competition at Indianapolis than any other post-war driver active today. In 13 Memorial Day races, he's traveled 4,447 miles. He has been 4th the past 2 years. Bettenhausen, who is the driver's representative on the board of directors of the United States Auto Club, will drive the new number 16 Lindsey Hopkins Special from Miami, Florida, which is prepared by Jack Beckley, the mechanics representative on the board of directors for USAC. A.J. Foyt was the youngest driver in the past two Indy 500 races. Foyt moved into 5th place in the national championship point standings behind Rodger Ward, the new title holder. Included in the 5'11", 185-pound Texans' 885 points is a 10th place finish at Indianapolis, less than 58 seconds behind Johnny Boyd, the 6th place finisher. He also had a second, 2/3, a 4th, and an 8th, and a 9th, and a 7th in all 12 races in 1959. Foyt will drive the number 10 Dean Van Lyon Special, a car which has always been 3rd or better at Sacramento. 3-time Sacramento winner Jimmy Bryan, the 58 Indy victor, scored 2 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd in it, while AJ took a 3rd here last year. The chief mechanic is Clint Bronner of Phoenix, who took care of Bryan when Jimmy won the National Driving Championship in 54, 56, 57, and was runner-up in 55, as well as in 17 of Bryan's 19 championship victories. That was interesting. A story about A.J. Foyt, and they spent more time talking about Jimmy Bryan. Hard-charging Eddie Sachs has started in the middle of the front row in 2 of the last 3 Memorial Day 500-milers. With only the Golden State 100 left, Rodger Ward, Tony Bettenhausen, and Sachs, the Center Valley, Pennsylvania motel and restaurant owner, are the only double winners on this year's championship circuit. Rodger won 4 of the 12 races run thus far, Tony and Eddie a pair each. Single race winners were Len Sutton, the late Van Johnson, and the injured duo of John Rathman and Johnny Thompson, last year's Sacramento winner. Sachs is 7th in the current national championship standings. Included in his point total are 2 firsts at Syracuse and Trenton, and a 2nd just behind Ward in the Hoosier 100. Sachs will drive the red number 7 competition special, entered by St. Louis groceryman Pete Schmidt. Chief mechanic is Modesto's Wally Muskowski. Len Sutton of Portland, Oregon, will be seeking his 2nd victory of the season today. Sutton, who won this year's 100-miler at Springfield, led for the first 43 laps of last Sunday's 100-mile at Phoenix before dropping out with engine trouble. He also had a 4th and a 5th this year. Len qualified at 142.107 miles per hour to sit on the 8th row in this year's 500 on the outside of Al Herman and the other Oregon driver, Bob Christie of Grants Pass. He was the 2nd driver out of the Memorial Day race. Last year's winner, Jimmy Bryan, and 3-time Sacramento victor, was the first one out. Chassis disability caused Len's car to go into a spin, so he spun into the southwest turn, hitting the wall nose first, spun again, and then hit the wall with his tail. Sutton will drive the number 81 Central Excavating Special, in which he won last year's 100-miler at Trenton. It's entered by Pete Salemi of Cleveland. Don Branson of Urbana, Illinois, is another first-year Indianapolis veteran in today's field. Branson qualified at 143.3 miles per hour to sit on the 4th row of this year's 500. He was forced out on the 112th lap of the 200-lap grind when the left rear torsion bar fractured at the weld. Don is in the top 6 in national championship standings with 780 points. Included in his point total are 3 seconds and 2 fifths, as well as points from 3 other races. He was fastest qualifier at 3 of the 11 races held thus far in 59. The chunky 39-year-old veteran won the 1959 Midwest Sprint Car Championship by almost 100 points over runner-up A.J. Foyt. Don won 6 of the 9 races held, including 5 in a row. He'll drive the number 9 Bob Estes Special, owned by the popular Inglewood Auto Dealer here at Sacramento. Judd Williams is the chief mechanic. Dempsey Wilson, hard-luck Indianapolis veteran from Lawndale, will drive the number 45 Bardall Special, which is the roadster Paul Russo drove to 9th place in this year's 500. It's owned by Fred Gerhardt of Fresno, and chief mechanic is Fred Diorian of Fresno. Wilson and Russo were assigned to the Tough Luck Supercharged 8-cylinder Novi Specials for this year's Memorial Day race. Russo was lucky enough to get another ride, while Dempsey tried unsuccessfully to put his Novi in the race. He tried to qualify a couple of other cars, but waited too long as all the other top cars were gone.
Hey, there's Harold.
Glad you enjoyed that video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, put your comments down below. There's a lot more where this one came from.